In September 2011, a video was uploaded to YouTube that sent a shockwave through the Queen community. A man named Marc Martel sat at a piano and sang "Somebody to Love," and for a moment, the world stopped. It wasn't just a good cover, it was terrifyingly accurate. The tone, the break in the voice, the phrasing, it was as if Freddie Mercury's genetic code had been unlocked in a lab. Naturally, the comments section exploded with one unified demand: hire this man. If Brian May and Roger Taylor want to continue Queen, surely the goal is to find the person who sounds the most like Freddie. Why would they hire the guy from American Idol, with his modern pop style and theatrical flair, when there is a man ready and waiting who sounds exactly like the legend we lost? It is the single most common argument in the Queen fandom. It sparks wars in comment sections every single day, and on the surface, it seems logical. If you lose the greatest singer in history, you should try to replace him with the closest possible match. But today, we are going to explore why that logic is flawed. We are going to dig into the psychology of the band, the concept of the Uncanny Valley, and the difference between a tribute act and a rock band. Because the reason Brian May and Roger Taylor chose Adam Lambert isn't because they didn't know about Marc Martel. It's because they knew exactly what a soundalike would do to their legacy. To understand the genius of the current lineup, we first have to understand why the perfect replacement would have been the death of the band. Let's give credit where it is absolutely due. Marc Martel is a vocal phenomenon. He is undeniable. In fact, Brian and Roger did hire him. They handpicked him to front the Queen Extravaganza, their official tribute show. They recognized that his voice was a gift, and they created a space for fans to experience that sound in a live setting. But inviting him to front the actual band? That is a completely different psychological hurdle. Imagine you are Brian May. You spent 20 years standing on stage next to your best friend. You wrote hits together, you fought in the studio, you conquered the world, and then you watched him slowly fade away. If you stood on stage 30 years later next to a man who sounded exactly like your dead friend, but wasn't him, that isn't a concert, that is a ghost story. There is a concept in robotics called the Uncanny Valley. It states that when something looks or sounds almost human, but not quite human, it creates a feeling of revulsion. It feels wrong. For the surviving members of Queen, touring with a sound-alike would likely feel like an act of necromancy. It invites a direct comparison in every single bar of music. Every time Marc would sing a phrase, the audience and the band would subconsciously be checking it against the memory of Freddie. Did he hit the note? Yes. Did it sound like the record? Yes. It becomes a test. The concert stops being a living, breathing rock show and turns into a recital. It becomes an exercise in nostalgia, looking backward, trying to recreate a magic that is gone. Brian May and Roger Taylor didn't want to live in a museum. They wanted to be a working band. And a working band needs friction. It needs danger. And most of all, it needs a frontman who is alive in the present tense. This is where Adam Lambert enters the equation. And this is why he works, even if the purists refuse to admit it. Adam Lambert is the anti-clone. When Adam walks onto the stage, usually wearing 7-inch platform boots, draped in gold chains, perhaps with green hair or a studded corset, he is screaming a visual message to the audience. I am not Freddie Mercury. And because he makes it so visually and stylistically obvious that he isn't Freddie, your brain stops comparing them. You stop looking for the ghost. You accept that this is something new. Adam brings his own artistic ego to the table. He changes the melodies. He plays with the timing. He brings a modern, queer, camp sensibility that honors Freddie's spirit without tracing his drawings. There is a specific moment during the Rhapsody tour that proves this point. Watch Brian May during Killer Queen. When Adam throws in a new vocal run or a different inflection, you can see Brian watching him. You see Brian smiling. You see him adjusting his guitar, playing to match Adam's energy. That interaction is the heartbeat of a real band. Brian has said explicitly that Adam wakes them up. If they had hired a sound-alike, they would likely be playing the songs on autopilot, exactly as they did in 1986. But Adam forces them to stay on their toes. He challenges them. He makes these 70-year-old legends feel like they are in a dangerous rock band again. The Martel argument relies on the idea that Queen should be preserving the past in amber. The Lambert reality is that Queen is still evolving. However, there is a fascinating twist to this story that actually validates both sides, and it involves the Bohemian Rhapsody movie. When the biopic was being made, they needed to recreate the singing voice of Freddie Mercury for the performance scenes. Rami Malek is a brilliant actor, but he isn't a stadium singer. So who did they call? They called Marc Martel. His voice is mixed into the film alongside Freddie's master tapes and Rami's vocals. When the goal was to recreate history, to capture a snapshot of the past exactly as it was, Marc was the perfect choice. He is the guardian of the sound. But for the tour, for the live experience in a stadium of 60,000 people, they chose Adam. This distinction is the key to the entire debate. Marc Martel allows us to close our eyes and remember what it was like. Adam Lambert forces us to open our eyes and realize that rock and roll is still alive. So to the die-hard fans who still comment, "No Freddie, no Queen," or "Get Marc Martel" on every video, you are allowed to prefer the sound of the past. There is a deep comfort in that familiarity. But Queen was never a band about comfort. Queen was about spectacle, risk, and operatic excess. Hiring the safe, perfect sound-alike would have been the easy choice. It would have been the profitable, safe choice. But hiring the guy from American Idol, the guy with the glitter and the high heels who risks alienating the purists every night, that was the risky choice. And if we know anything about the legacy of Freddie Mercury, it is this: you don't become legends by playing it safe. The show must go on, and thanks to that risk, it most definitely does.